good afternoon, folks. I hope everyone is doing well. Hello from Sandra Ponce as well. I said I'll pop on have a chat with you just in regards to the last 24 hours, not the last couple of weeks myself. Just in shambles, I think. Finally, some fans are starting to wake up and realise how bad this board is not taking this team serious, taking the squad serious, taking the manager serious because going to be a big decline. Going to be a big decline this season regarding the standard of football. We've already seen in the last couple of days the Champions League qualifiers, the Derby and Ibrox. We're not clinical enough. We don't have enough ammunition on the attacking flanks and up front. And we decided to get rid of Adamida, even though Adamida has not been living the heights in the Celtic shores in recent times. But frustrating, absolutely frustrating. Obviously the Yang deal collapsed yesterday. They didn't get the paperwork done by 7 o'clock English time Birmingham. So good luck to Stephen Welch as well, doing Motherwell and season long move, and good luck to Sebastian Temecki as well, that's joined Celtic as well from Harmony. But an absolute fucking joke of a club, seriously, a joke. Now what I would say is any Celtic fan that the season to corner that spends hundreds of thousands a season on merchandise and going to the games and supporting the club, just have a think about the Europa League package. Do you really want to give that board more money, which they have not reinvested in that squad? They've spent 15 million, just under 15 million in this transfer window, with a budget of just around 100 million. So we lost out 20 goals with either last season. We lost out 14 goals with Guidogo before he left, got to red. Kim was over 21 goals, and how are we going to replace that? People might say Neugren, but I don't know if Neugren's going to be the left and Nick skill. You know, I don't know if we're going to get Nacho, to be honest. I know Nacho terminated contract with Sevilla. It's an absolute joke. Like I have no faith in this board whatsoever. And I was talking to a few people over here last night. Shout out the two lads that I met from Motherwell, Martin and Kevin. Um, they echo the same thing. But the fans will have to protest at some level. Some people might not attend games, some people will boycott games, and I don't agree with boycotting like league games because that's our bread and butter, that's where it's at. But the Europa League, regardless of the money in a sense, it's not the level of Champions League. They gamble with Champions League qualification. Now they're going to be gambling with the league and the Scottish Cup and the Scottish League Cup. And that's, to be honest, I know some fans in the comments might not think I keep it up that bad. They're that mob over and governor are bad, but I don't care about. I care about their house, not other people's houses. And if they're gambling with, it's like it has that COVID season vibes where, if you don't back your manager, and I just think it's down to tactics. Simple. Best way to play it is, Brendan, you done the dirty when you went to Leicester in year 3. We're getting you back from it. It's revenge. It's revenge. We're not giving you a new contract. We're not giving you the money. It didn't work out with the media. It's not working out with any England. This is their way of saying enough's enough. And it's sad to say, just fans, fans don't see it. Fix your mic. My mic, it's speakerphone. Speakerphone. I'm recording on the phone. I don't have magic words here. I'm in Santa Ponsa. I'm on holidays. I had enough to bring a tripod with me, so hopefully that's enough. But no, but look, I wish I had them the very best over in down in Swansea. Obviously, we made 7 million back on that sale of a 9 million striker that we signed last year that we got police for. But look, it wasn't down to Adamides' valuation of the player. It was down to Celtic before panicking. It was down to Swan. It was down to Norwich home demand last year. So he'll be remembered for the goals he scored in the cup final and stuff. But yeah, just a shocking, just absolutely shocking. And yeah, you'll still get 40,000 fans clapping their hands and thinking it's yesterday chapter. Now there's 3 games after the international break, which were away to 3 games, 3 competitions, and I'll be honest, I'm dreading the season. I'm dreading the season because I've said it for about 5 or 6 weeks. Start back at the manager, start putting the projection into that team, start reinvesting, and no, hasn't been done. But let me know if you can hear me okay. Let me know if the sound is alright. Let me see. But there won't be change with the board. 2 seconds. There won't be change with the board because the boards are click. They won't see if there's any players or players available. And I guarantee you, like you can still get the free agent players, but they don't care. Don't care. You won't get Nacho in. Like imagine a last minute scrambling for players that are not players that are maybe not at Celtic level. You know, we're looking at a goal yesterday from Chelsea. Was he at Celtic level? Don't know. What is their level now? We can hear you, but it's very poor quality. Well, I'm on like fucking terrible Wi-Fi, so maybe it's just the sounds. As I said, I'm away on holidays, folks. I don't have the privilege of sitting in my gaff and doing it. So I'm out. It's my birthday today, so I said I pop on, have a chat with you. So yeah, let's see if that's it. Is that bit of better quality? Is it? Let me know. Let me know. How's it going, Brian? Um, yeah, no, he's pissed off. The Mo says we can hear you, but it's very poor quality, disgraceful board. So Brendan Rodgers, my prediction is he'll walk by the end of this month. In fact, I think he'll walk. And I know he's probably think that's crazy, but if you're not getting back to do your job and you're not getting the field, and you can clearly see ha, we are struggling. That tippy tappy football is going to cost us the league title. And I don't care if people are too stubborn to admit that our team and our play has declined. That will cost us the league title. I'm telling you now, especially dropping stupid points to teams that are not even near the level. Happy birthday today, Keith. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I hope you're doing well. Brilliant to see. Brilliant to see. See, I'm on my phone. I can't even ping your comments. Um, happy birthday. I hope you have a good one. I'm gonna take it easy today. Went too much on a last night. Went to Jinky's bar and then went to the Dubliner. As I said, I met a few Celtic fans last night and they're all feeling the same. All feeling the same. I think a lot of fans didn't realise it's gonna go this bad where oh Jesus, they'll get players in the last minute. They got one player in the last minute. And the way they got him in was an absolute joke, to be honest. They were underbidden. It took them what 3 bids to get Taneki in, and I wish Sebastian Taneki the best. But what has the evidence there that this guy's going to be adding more goals to his game? He played 20 games so far for that team in Sweden, Germany, and scored one goal. One goal. That was terrible last night. Like that's just like be honest with you, I like as much as my way on holidays, I've been keeping tabs on. I've been looking at every update, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to even go on the transfer deadline day because there's nothing to report. There was nothing to report. A couple of outgoings and us scrambling to get players in. It's just we should have had a look at Vardy. To be honest, obviously he joined Cremonese in Serie A, but letting Ida go as I said, Ida hasn't been at the levels in the Celtic show. Just shows that they don't care. They don't care. Take, take, take. If I was, now be honest, and this has gone on the truth, and I know it's our manager, but if I was Brendan, I'd walk. I would walk. I just don't think there's many reasons why I think Celtic and Brendan Rodgers should cut ties. He's like, yes, and there's less than a year left in his contract. He doesn't seem optimistic. He's called out the lack of spending, the lack of you know, reinvestment into the squad. The football has been absolutely dire. And most of all, we don't need this toxic vibe around a manager being questioned every week and asked in his next press conference after the international break what happened, where did it go wrong, the transfer window. I'd rather actually see Brendan Rodgers go in this international break so we can actually get someone in and start refresh because let's be honest, whoever they get in, they'll sugarcoat it. They'll give them a couple of million quid, and then they'll sit back and I'm not buying in this crap where fans are saying, "Oh well, it's we lost out the Champions League money, so we couldn't be spending that much money." Folks, we've over 100 million quid in the bank, 100 million quid, and they made money obviously on Kuhn as well. They made money, even though Kaneki was what 5 odd million, still made money on Adamida, which goes into the bank. Yes, Oak's deal to Stuttgart fell through. He failed his medical, but we made money on Ping Pong as well, Larga Bielka. So there was over over 40 million, over 30 odd million of sales this summer, and we only spent not even half of that. Not even half of that. And this team is much. This is probably the most weakest team I've seen at Celtic since Ronnie Doyle's fourth season. If you want to go down that way, to be honest, it's just Tierney's a good lad, and we're all happy to have him back at Celtic. But the question is, yeah, we got Sarachi in. You can't go more than 60 minutes. We should have kept Greg Taylor. You know, right back, we're going to struggle. Yes, young Donovan's there. Alistair Johnson's out until November. We're going to struggle in a good chunk of our European games. Then you have we don't have a defensive midfielder, which is another problem. We now have to rely on Shinamada, Callum Osmond, and basically Days of Maeda to lead the line. And it's just an absolute fucking joke. And yes, just be prepared. I'm giving you the heads up now. I will moan and I will voice my frustration over the next couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, on how bad this team this team has not got the investment. As I said, this Air Football Club, for what they do on the pitch, brings in the money as well. A big factor, the money. So when you gamble with Champions League and you lose that in Champions League money, you should be punished. You should be punished at the end of the day. And the end of the day, they're not taking it serious, folks. It is a shit show, Andy. How you get Andy? I watched your podcast the other day, and you were absolutely furious. And you know what I said in the comments when I was watching it? Um, you're right to call it out. Is this Andy that does the podcast? Hopefully it is. But call it out, call it out, and they just can't admit it, that they've messed up. Like they gambled with the Scottish Cup. We played brutal that day. That was the start of it. That was the start of the trend where football started dipping down. It was an absolute joke, and you called it out. You called it out. But let me see. I can't even click this. Dermot isn't blameless for Nicholson is out yeah, with where the transfer is. I really do. I know what pisses me off with all the effort they put into Taneki. If they bid it early and got that guy in literally on Friday night, we would have had that time to get other players in. We would have had time to focus on other positions. And Michael Nicholson isn't capable of doing his job to the level he once did a couple of years back. Not at that level. I think Ange kind of had them on their toes because Ange had his own way of doing things. And as I said to you, I don't. If we're linked with Ange, I wouldn't. If I was Ange, I wouldn't go back to Celtic. Simple. What's the point? What is the point? You're probably not going to get back the way you think you'd get back. You think about it, it couldn't get worse than Almaty. It probably could get worse than Almaty. You drop points in the league to this shitty football. I think Brendan now straight. I know he's won a lot of honours with Celtic and good trebles and good moments, but I think he's done in. He's just like fuck this. What's the goal for now? Dealing with me bosses who are dickheads, dealing with me bosses that actually don't care about how serious I want to move forward. He made the benchmark after Bayern Munich, and since after Bayern Munich, we have declined and declined. Our football has been well off it. We haven't even been third gear football, you know. I just feel sorry for fans. I feel sorry for you more than everything, folks. The ones that go to games on a weekly basis. You shouldn't be have to go there and having that negative vibe around the club. You should be going there with your kids or going there with your loved ones or even going there on a Saturday, looking forward to Glasgow Celtic playing the Glasgow Celtic way, free flowing attacking football, hitting the flanks, scoring two or three goals, leaving that stadium, not a worry in the world, just thinking of moving up the table or putting that extending that gap. But it's not going to be like that this season, folks, because the only way that we're going to lose this league is down to our own problems, not down to teams causing problems. If we don't get ourselves together, if we're having an average of 600 passes a game, and 60% of them passes are between the back four, that just shows there's a lack of ambition in that squad. I'm sure that some of them players are bored already and frustrated already that we're not playing that type of football. And there's probably about two or three players in that squad that have that leadership attribute. So the rest of them are just, they just don't care. Just don't care. And I don't know if it's the case where has Brendan lost majority of these players already to this shitty football that he's been playing? Or is the case he done this shitty football to make a statement to the board? I'm playing politics to the board. Well, if you don't back me, this is the evidence here. This is how bad it can get. And the lack of preparation for Kazakhstan, the lack of preparation for the home game, taking it as a pinch of salt, it's going to hit you. And I think it'll be a hard watch this season, folks. We should be going into a final year of our manager with all let's go out, let's win this league with a bang. Let Brendan go out with a bang. Let's win a treble and let's compete in Europe. But it's the opposite. It's the opposite, sadly. You know, Brendan was wrong about the boards. Yeah, like literally, when he walked in back into the building, he said he was impressed with the structure of the board and all. Keith, this has all been deliberate to undermine our manager. I think he's been thrown under the bus, to be honest, and I think this is his kind of way of. And I know he shouldn't be doing it. And like some people might say I'm overreacting, but I think his way of saying two fingers up, saying, "Okay, this is what this is what's going to cost you. You don't back me, we're going to play this football, and this football is the way we're going forward." You know, as I said, it was even in January we seen the stages of football. You know, they're happy winning the league title. They're not spending money to try and progress. Not in the we're not a Champions League team. No, we're not a Champions League team. And to be honest with you, as much as we have toys at home to Prague, Strong Rats, Utrecht, Roma, I don't care about the Champions. I don't care about the Europa League. I really don't care about the Europa League. What's the point of What's the point of giving them more money so it could suit the lads at the top and they're not spending? Said, my honest opinion is I'm pissed off at the board. I'm pissed off at playing shitty football at the moment. I'm pissed off we're out of the Champions League. We should have won the other day. Realistically, you're after getting beaten in the Champions League qualifier. You had 3 days since you came back to get the preparation together, and you should have went out there. And you knew that Rangers obviously have that little bragging rights that they've been we haven't beaten them this calendar year. We should have went out and smashed them with their own problems. We should have went out and smashed them, but that wasn't there. There wasn't conviction there to do that. Days of Mieda looked lost. You know, the midfield looked like he didn't have the energy to actually go out and chase the game. Balakwisha, let's give him the benefit of the doubt, folks. It was his debut. It was a high intense game. He didn't live up to his debut, and I think Balakwisha will come good. I think Negro will come good as well. And we just have to back the style of a bit of back the players that we have on the pitch. But when your captain's calling it out and your manager's calling it out consistently on a weekly basis, it's a shit show. It's a shit show. Kieran says, "Can you see us winning games?" Yeah, of course I see us winning games, but I just don't think the football is going to be at the level it once was. I think we're losing Matt, losing Kiln, losing Kyogo, um, losing Ida. That's That's around 85 goals we've lost over the last 2 seasons, or even more, with them four players. And are we going to replace them? Probably not. Probably not. Like, I hope, I hope Johnny Kenny can live up to some level and fight and get in there and, you know, show that he's earned that contract. I hope Shinamada lives up to some level as well. It's a big gamble. We went penny pinching. We went penny pinching in this window. Folks, if this is your first time coming across the channel, please subscribe as well. Um, I'm going to be cringy. I'm going to say it as it is. It's my birthday today. I'm big 3-5 today. All I'm asking is you to jump over from Facebook and subscribe to my channel. I'm on my holiday in Santa Provo. I'm just asking you to jump over and subscribe. Nothing else. It's free of charge. There's no point in me coming on to this podcast and saying the same thing, the same type of people, and they're all amazing folk. But I like to hear different opinions and different comments. We're barely a Europa League team. Thanks very much, Andy. I'd love to come back onto your podcast soon. Thanks very much, Kieran. Thank you very much. We're barely a Europa League team. That's what I'm saying. And I was listening to the interview Sky Sports done this morning with the Celtic cynic, and he was spot on. He was spot on. He said that he's decided that he's gonna not take up his Europa League package this year as his kind of little dig to the board. And fair play to him. Because if I was a season ticket holder, I wouldn't give them any more fucking money. I'd be bringing them pack sandwiches, pack chips if I could. Wouldn't give them any more money because clearly you're not getting your value for money. You're not getting your value for money. And when you're not getting your value for money, you're clearly seeing it on the pitch. You're clearly seeing the lack of urgency with these players, the lack of conviction, the lack of hunger of taking one player taking the game by the scruff and making it happen. It's a sad state of affairs, folks. And yes, we're top of the league, and people are gonna put their green tints on, and they're gonna be like, they're just small bags. They're just small bags. We're top of the league. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna win the league. He can shut up. That Keith guy, that Andy guy, all them podcasts can shut up because you know what? We won't be saying this in May. We're gonna win the league. This is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get all this bullshit. And you know what? I'd rather lose them people because I don't care. I don't care about the happy clappers. I care about waking up on a Saturday morning. I care about actually being motivated and watching our team put two or three past a command a rugby park or beating our so-called rivals. That's what I care about. I don't care about shite bags that are back in the board 24/7 and thinking like, you know what, I don't want to join in that sack the board chance. We're just after winning the game today. We're all right. We're still top of the league. Nothing's wrong. We're after selling four of our biggest assets over the last few years. We'll sell my eight in January. We're fine. We're fine. We just keep letting the board do what they do. We're winning the league. We've only lost one league title in 13 years. We're fine. All that shite. All that shite. And this is the type of fans that need to have a look at ourselves. I'm not here to avoid conversations with. We're all Celtic fans. It's all about being successful. It's common sense. If you want to be successful, you need to invest in your team. When you invest in your team, it brings freshness. It's players that come in and want to develop and stay at Celtic for maybe 2 or 3 years and get used Celtic success so to move on and try to see the grass is green on the other side when you club. But when they're here to do a job. They're here to take in playing for a high pressure club. And if your manager isn't at it, as he came out and said already, folks, well, I don't know if I'm the man to maintain this move forward. I don't know if I can maintain what we have. I want I want to bring players in and move forward. And he's right. Simple as. If you're a manager, you're looking forward. You should be looking forward to transfer windows. You should be a part of that relationship with your chief executive. You know, you should be that. You should be in that Skype call saying, "Look, we'll be looking forward to having you at Celtic. We're looking forward to building the team around you. We're looking forward to the big nights we're looking forward to. Like, a Celtic as a tool shouldn't be have to be solved by a delegation of players going of delegation of board men or people going off to Belgium to buy a guy that was injured for half of last season. It shouldn't be solved like that. Celtic are a massive football club. They have a massive stadium. They have a probably top 5 or 6 teams in the world fan base, maybe without a doubt. And you have people going over there and selling the Balak with you. It's embarrassing state of affairs, folks. You know, it's embarrassing state of affairs. So where's Brendan? Who's he's probably in Mallorca. I'll probably see him over here in the Dublin having a drink with me. um, he's probably in Mallorca. He's probably needed that little bit of holiday away just to say, you know what, like what am I doing? I'm in a job where I'm starting to feel unhappy. Let's be honest, folks. If you're in a job that you feel like your manager is not giving you what you want, or helping you, or not giving you that annual leave, or giving you that monthly incentive, how would you feel? Would you feel unhappy? If you've been calling out the problems in your workplace and making it publicly to people outside work or whatever, you'd want reaction. And he didn't get reaction. And I'm not saying Brendan is a spoiled person and he knows what's best. But come on, the evidence is on the pitch. The evidence is there. We don't have enough players that are gonna get their magic moments this season, folks. And I'm not gonna say that's Celtic, but the board are taking a risk. They're gambling with the title. They're gambling with the Scottish Cup. They're gambling with the league title. Who cares about the Europa League? Yeah, it's a Thursday night. I don't care about the Europa League. I don't care about it because that team isn't good enough to compete in the Europa League. And actually, we've lost more players since the draw the other day, and we could have since that draw on Friday, we could have brought in 2 or 3 more players, and we haven't. We haven't. It's it's there, like it's there. As I said, good luck to Stephen Welch. Well, that's a good bit of business for them. Um, good luck with Adam Ida. I'll always remember him for his goal in the cup final. He's debuted double against Hibs at Easter Road. Yes, there were penalties. His goals he scored against Motherwell away at Fair Park. His goals in the Champions League. I'll remember it in this jersey. But it's in the past now. That door's closed. That door's closed. And as I said, I don't, when it comes to the league games, I would not like to see our fans boycott. Definitely not. It's our bread and butter. We have to win these games. But when it comes to Europa League games, do you really want to give any? Do you want to really want to give more money? Do you really want to give more money for something that's probably going to frustrate you? Something that you're going to feel fed up about? Something that you feel like, oh, for fuck's sake, could have brought me missus out for dinner with that 50 quid. I could have used that 50 quid and went to the bingo. We could have used that 50 quid and bought myself a nice pair of jeans instead of giving it to Peter Lawwell and Dermot Desmond to sit there and tap themselves in the back and think they're doing a great job. Do you really want to do that? Do you really want to do that? That's what I'm trying to say to us. We're in a cost of living crisis. It's all take, 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 and no reinvestment. You know. So as I said, Lunch said, "Did you not say not to boycott?" I'm saying it. Reconsider the Europa League package. Do you really want to spend your money there? You really want to go through seeing teams like Braga, teams like Strom Graz, teams like Utrecht? Well, we should have been in the Champions League playing against superior teams that actually have a rich history in European football. Like, no disrespect to Roma. The Roma toy would be good, but we'll see what happens. Got the good El Can over here anyway. Um, but as I said, my honest views is change manager. What's the point? What's the point having a manager there where he's unhappy and he has a right to be unhappy? But at the same time, if he's gonna play shite tactics and play mind games with them, we don't need it. I would mutual agreement. Brendan, thanks for your time. All the best. Make the phone call. And I know it's going to be a hard approach. Ring Bodo Glimt. I know they're in the Champions League and say we're interested in your manager. He's been at that club. I don't know how long. nuisance at being at Bodo Glimt if someone wants to comment. Like he was there when we played them in the Europa League in 2020, 21. So, um, well, 2022, sorry, 21 to 22. I would change the manager, to be honest. And I know that sounds very premature. It sounds very premature with 4 games gone this season. You want to change your manager when you're top of the league. It's crazy conversation we're having, folks. But you got to look at it as a you need to change something now because it either get worse or get better. And at this moment, it's swinging worse. Our new wingers are away to play the AFCON in December. For God's sake, there you go. And you think and Celtic don't really Celtic don't really spend in January, as we clearly seen. Like you know, for these glasses, happy birthday glasses. In Spanish, but yeah, okay. It's just been it's. I'm not trying to put the mood down on a Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon, folks. I'm just being realistic, I'm just being realistic. I defended the board about 7 weeks ago when I was doing watch alongs for the preseason games, and I said it out straight. I said you need to have a bit of patience. There's players coming in the door. It's not that easy, but he had enough time since Brendan barked at the media 4 or 5 weeks ago to get some business done. They got Balak in, and they got this guy Jamal Simpson Pupsy that we haven't seen. You know, um, we've seen Balak in Taneki. Do you really feel deep down inside? This is no disrespect to these lads. Do you really feel like they're going to make a big difference? Can they make a big difference? They have to prove themselves, but they won't. They won't be able to prove themselves if you're playing that style of football where I just, you know what, just play scales, just play figures, but just have that tippy tap football at the back. You know, yeah. Just read that we're in profit by 17 million from the player sales at the end of this window. We're not in profit. No, Kira, we're not in profit. The fans are not in profit. The club's not in profit. Dermot Desmond's in profit. He's the majority shareholder. He's in profit. That's what's going on there. As I said, I called it early, and I'm not here to be sugarcoating. And I understand. I know there's been good Celtic podcasters that are just that don't want to do the fan media anymore because they feel like they're not getting the right authority to ask the big questions. And you should be allowed to ask the big questions to your manager or to certain representatives, you know, of where are we going? What's the direction? You know, if they came out and gave us if they came out today instead of saying, look, we're accountable for a disappointing transfer window, but they're not. They're going to sugarcoat and say, "Oh, we brought Tierney back. Oh, we got Neger for 600k. We got this guy." They scrambled to get a guy in from Sweden after multiple bids, folks. That just shows that showed the lack of ambition. Nothing against Sebastian. I'm looking forward to seeing Sebastian, but his stats are not the most comprehensive. When you have a guy that plays Swedish football who's played 20 games and has 1 goal to his name, and he's an attacking player, the goals are drying up, folks. The goals are drying up. They've already been drying up since Keown's left. They've been drying up since Kyogo's left. And yeah, Ida may not be the most comprehensive player, but he still had goals this game. He scored 20 goals last season. And as I said, I did want Ida today. No question about it. But when you're not replacing Ida and getting it, look what happened. We haven't even discussed it yet. Kasper Dolberg, what an absolute shambles for him. Because they were penny pinching. Because did he go to Ajax? Because I went onto the Ajax page, the social page, and I didn't see nothing about joining Ajax on the season long mail. But let me know in the comments. Let me know. I think our ambition now is winning the championship for the next couple of years. But you shouldn't have to be at that. Like, if it was a case that we only had 20 million in the bank, I can understand that. You have to win the championship and be be the be successful in domestic football, but you have 100 million in the bank, and your ambition is not to spend some sort of money, like serious amount of money of 25 to 30 million, and build your squad of losing your Matt O'Reillys and your Coons and your Boyogos. Yes, we have Jota to come back by the turn of the new year. We have Alistair Johnson to come back, and they will make the team a bit stronger. But no matter what players you have in that pitch, it's the ethos of football that they have to go under. It's a style of play that they're going to go under. And if we're going to play that style of play going into our first game back in the league against Kilmarnock and Rugby Park, it's going to be like that League Cup again against them. You probably get punished. And if you go to Park and Thistle, even though we're favourites there, you will you'll turn around and say to yourself, "Oh my God, we're playing a team in the Championship in Scotland. We're playing this tippy tap football." And who says that we're not going to do that? Because we've done against a team that was from Kazakhstan that rode our luck against Slavia and Bratislava, which is a team that we hammered in last season's league phase, and we couldn't even beat them. We couldn't beat Almaty. The comedy show has started, and it may not be as funny as Ibrox, but it could turn into funny as that if shit's not being done. If the football doesn't start picking up a pace, and if we start dropping points, we're gambling with the league. Simple as. It's the same, yeah, exactly. I won played 5 million for that guy from Go Ahead Eagles in a panic. We paid 5 million for a Tunisian guy. Look, if we're not writing this guy off, I'm just saying his stats isn't the most appealing, but it's a new chapter for him in his career. He could come in and hit the ground running and be a vital part of the team, but it's about the service you give these players, these attacking players. Like, look at Yang. Yang should have went. Yang isn't good enough for a Celtic shirt. Majority of his performances just isn't good enough. But he might he might get a move in um in January. Speaking of former Celtic players, Edward got a move to Lens in France, and Paddy Roberts has gone to Birmingham. So Paddy Roberts will be playing with the likes of Kyogo and Tomoki at Birmingham. It's crazy, crazy how football turns out. You know. But I'll stay on for another 5 minutes. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's watched the channel today, considering the time of the day it is. Look, I'm over in Santa Ponza. I said we'll pop on. Oh yeah, I heard already got that loan move as well to Marseille. I forgot all about that. I forgot all about that. Kenny, I was too busy having drinks yesterday, having moans to fans face to face about how bad it's turned. And I don't want to be a drama queen in any shape or form, but it's the realization that money hasn't been spent to the level that some fans would like. I'm not saying bankrupt the club in any shape or form, but put the put the put the money in and replace what you've lost, and replace it in a fashion where you've lost a player for 25 million, you've lost a player for 17 million. Go out and buy a player for 7 8 million that has experience of playing in the Champions League, has experience of playing high class football, and no disrespect to the Swedish league in any shape or form, but it isn't buoyant. It isn't getting me excited, to be honest with you. It isn't getting me excited. Like, you know, um, it's just there's so much. I'm trying to think positive here. I'm trying to think of, what, it's a bit of time to get these lads to get their shit together. Going to be an international break. They're going to come back. Some might pick up injuries. Touch wood, they don't. Some players will come back, and it gives time for Brendan to reflect and say, right, where am I at? Is my contract going to be? Are we going to come to mutual terms and move on, or is it a case where you're just you're going to have to still play the football? I feel like you're being suffocated of being frustrated, being frustrated. You know. Um, Happy birthday! Thanks very much, Brian. Many people blaming Brendan for his look. It's a bit of everything. It's a bit of everything. Like like at the end of the day, it starts from the top down to the bottom. And Brendan has to take accountability as well of his poor tactics. When you put pressure on you to react after a disappointing exit to the Champions League, you need reaction. And his tactics were absolutely brutal the other day. And a part of me is thinking, is this happening on purpose to have a dig at the boards? That's what a part of me thinks. Is it a conspiracy or is it am I nuts in the head to think that? But I'm sure there's people that think that in the comments. Um where's this comment from Ollie? Did Ollie say something in the comments? Some fans are just here we go. Ollie, here we go. See these, Ollie? These are green tints. These are green tints. This is what you this I'm not trying to call you out and say you're talking absolute rubbish, but just have a think about it. This is not the 80s. This is not the 90s. I'm sorry, but football teams go through moments where they have their ups and downs, and we all love Celtic. But can you not see we have 100 million in the bank, and you're saying this crap? This is a Heat Cup. Back the team, and you'll be jumping every tune and med. This is what I'm talking about. You are that small percentage of fans that you think it's only a rainy day. Ollie, I know you're a passionate fan. I know you've lived through the 80s and the 90s. And look at fair dues shit. But come on. This is 2020 fucking five. Transfers is different. The hype is different. Because you're in a world of social media, you're in the world of a bigger market perspective, you're in the world where you hear everything. You hear quicker than it was back in the 80s and the 90s where you hear a little bit of spread of a word or a bit of paper and you've seen the story. But come on, Ollie. Ollie, please wake up. For God's sake. And I know you're a good contributor to the page and you have your opinion, but take the green tints off and wake up to reality. Because if you're going to be a happy clapper, I'm going to say it as it is, Ollie. I'm just not going to buy into these comments. I'm not going to buy into these comments of, we're having a heat cup. Heat cup of losing in the Champions League qualification team, 315th. Ollie, please have a think. Have a think about it. I urge you, I really, really urge you. Having 100 million, having 100 million in the bank and not replacing players that contribute nearly 80 goals over the last season and a half. That's a hiccup, Ollie. That's a hiccup. Ollie, take them off. Take them off. Because I'm not buying into that comment. As I said, you've lived through the 80s, been through the 90s. I have fans, I have people on this channel, I have people I've met that have been in the same situation as you and are actually see it. That actually see it. They've been seeing it for weeks. They've been seeing it for weeks. So why can you not see it? Are you on Dermot Desmond's payroll? Are you like are you on Peter Lawwell's payroll or something like? Shake it ahead, man. Jesus. Can't you won't even answer his phone? Yeah, look, that's it. And you know what, Ollie? If we drop points and we're not convicted in our play, I'm going to be calling you out. And I'm going to be calling that 10% self fans out. I don't care that you've been there for Love Street. I don't care you've been there for the times when the Kellys fucked us over. I'm caring about now. That's in the past, Ollie. This is the we have to think to the future. And if you want success, you need to realise and go hand to hand with fans that actually give a fuck. You know? I like the Jeremy Price, but you need to be realistic here. You need to be realistic. What is your aims, Ollie, for this season? What is your aims? Do you think Celtic can win that league by 15 or 20 points? Do you think that we're going to go out and replace players that are going into the African Cup of Nations and get replacements in? Because they didn't do it for this week. They didn't do it for this point. This is the board taking a slice at the fans and taking a slice at Brendan Rodgers and saying, we lost out on money and you ain't getting a new contract and you're dealing with what we have there because that should be capable of winning the league. That should be capable to compete in the Europa League. Let's be honest, that should be capable of winning the derby. Well, it wasn't. It wasn't. You know, I say it as it is. I'm a passionate fan. I watch every game. I may not attend every game. I have about fucking 20 Celtic jerseys with me on holidays because I love my team and I love talking about our team. But if there's something wrong, it has to be fixed. Are you going to leave a broken door and expect Brendan Rodgers to walk through and keep doing his job? Because Brendan Rodgers has a fault to play with this as well. Brendan Rodgers is 30% of this problem because He hasn't had the balls to actually get what he wanted. He can call and call and call. You can moan and moan and moan, but your actions speak louder than words. You know, he should have been getting players in. He should have been a part of that, part of the, with the chief executive, with Dermot Desmond. He should have had a new contract signed during the summer. But that just shows there's something there. There's a broken connection, and the only way you fix that is you to clear your manager out, get a new manager in, inherit a new style of football, and restart. The season's early, it's fresh. Will eventually will some fans will get over this hiccup of the transfers. And it'll take weeks, some might take months, some people might not get over it. But this has been the worst of the Celtic boards drama. Celtic boards of lack of ambition. When you have money in the bank, you put on you reinvest. Simple as. It's embarrassing. And you're sitting there on Sky, you're sitting there watching Sky Sports News in the pub away on your holiday, and you're saying to yourself, "Oh, there's not been much being done, even though we've been calling it for weeks and weeks, and the brand managers been calling it for weeks and weeks. We need reinforcements. Nothing's been done. Nothing's been done." So I'm gonna say what my missus said when Brendan Rodgers got the job, and some people would disagree. She called him a rat. She's like, "I never want him back." And my missus is that type of person where you shouldn't have second chances. I know Lenny came in and he stirred the shit, but she says Lenny should have been gone after the Scottish Cup. Should never have Jota back. Should never have Tierney back. This is the type of mentality some fans are, and I respect it. But we should have went for someone else. Back then, even though I was the one that was like, get Rodgers in, I want deep down inside, I was like, you know what? Can he come back and prove the doubt was wrong? I wasn't thinking of the style of football. I was thinking of he has to make a point to prove people wrong, and let's forget about it. I know that sounds very premature because I was thinking, oh, he knows the club. He'll know how to get business done in English leagues. He'll get players in. That's what I was thinking. And it's just I just feel like it's a decline. It's we're dipping and dipping and dipping. We're dipping with performances. We're dipping with lack of ambition. We're dipping with the most of all. The most important thing here today is a lot of fans are feeling it. Fair Ollie, because Ollie loves these bad boys. Is that right, Ollie? Ollie's a good lad. He's been watching me for a long time. I'm just gonna call him out for this comment. That's all. He's a good and he's a passionate man. I give him the respect there, but not in this pocket, not in this topic, Ollie. I'm against you, Ollie. Calls out the board one day and then they're great. And then yeah, that's it. Like it's a part of me thinking he's like, you know what? He's probably, I know this sounds sad. I know Brendan's a Celtic man and he said it. He said the cameras at it when we won the league at 10 nights, I'll be here next season. He is the next season. But it's never saying that he'd be here by May. Football manager can come and go. And look at Tim Hag. Tim Hag got the sack after 2 days, or two games, two league games into Leverkusen. Strange things happen in football. It really does. So if people in agree with me that the board the board just don't care. The board don't care. And Andy, I was sitting there on Sunday when I was packing my suitcase and I was listening to you and the lad and I was like, you know what? I ain't licking straws here. I was completely in agreement for everything you said, how you felt when you put up that book and you said, I can't even write on it because it's the same shite. And I don't blame you saying you don't want to go back to that stadium. But the realization is, Andy, we're just numbers. Doesn't matter if we go or not. Other people will go, and other people will have them, and they won't want to bring their kids or they want to go and take them on with them. But they shouldn't have to go through that sight of watching that crap football. Watching Renfrew rejects play. I know, I know things are shite at Ibrox and they've drawn 4 games, but come on. We should be landslide this. When this comedy show at Ibrox is happening, we should be pumping the money in, building this league. Should have beaten them 2 or 3 nil the other day, and they were a better team in the first half. For the second half, We had a spell for about 10 minutes. Brutal. Absolutely shy. Absolutely shy. And I don't care when you have these fans that come on, sell the titles. 80s, 90s bullshit. Yes, that happened then. And you were there. But I wasn't there. I was not there. And this is my channel. And I'll say what I say. And I have no filter. I wasn't there. I'm there now. I've been there for the last 15, 16 years supporting Celtic. And I love every moment of it. Love every moment of it. Ups and downs. I don't go hide when shit's wrong. Did I go hiding when we during COVID when we got pumped by Ross County? Did I go hiding when we lost the league? No. I called it out as it is. I called it out a couple of months when Neil Lennon's chips were down. I still support him. But see, when New Year, I changed my opinion. The league's done. You need to get rid of your manager. What's the point of holding on to something that he thinks that we could still turn it around? He even had Scott Brown saying in February, he had Scott Brown saying in February that year that we could still turn it around. And we all remember that night of Livingston. Bruni was a phenomenal man. Phenomenal man. But just keep that name close to your ears. Scott Brown, Sean Maloney, Damien Duff. Keep them ears close to your ears over the next couple of weeks. Yeah. Good point, Ollie. Ollie, it's a good point. And I agree with you this one. They didn't because it does do you know what? Because it was down to the whole not taking and were you gonna let Adamita go? Like the treatment of Adamita got through from that Friday to that Sunday was a load of fish. We could have got Morosky in, but we didn't. We could have got Jamie Vardy in. We could have got some other. We could have got Doiberg in, but we didn't because the problem here is right. It's not the Celtic field that's throwing these players off. It's the boards, the way that they're presented, the way that they're going with business towards these clubs. Anderlecht didn't qualify for the Europa League, the Europa Conference League, and they needed money. And maybe some people might say 12 million is a bit a bit excessive for that guy. But he was a Danish international. He had goals his game. Good free kick take, penalty taker, good on the ball. That type of style of football we need. We had a chance. We had a chance to get as much as some people don't like going backwards, with my missus. We had a chance to get Georgia Yakamakis in. We had a chance to Yakamak. Yakamakis had an interview with the Daily Record. It was about 6, 7 weeks ago, and he was hinting for a move back to South. He'd love to come back to South. I would, I would have killed to have Yakamakis back. Yakamakis was a proven goal scorer for Celtic folks, and the only reason he left that club is because they wouldn't give him a couple of grand more for a new fucking contract. That was just down to the biscuit tin mentality yet again. Yet again. Yakamakis was a big part of their squad. When Poyogo was injured, Yakamakis stepped up. One of my favourite games of Georgios Yakamakis, even though he did not score that game, was the game in Ibrox when we won 2-1, when it was Carter Vickers and Tom Rogic. Yakamakis won so many free kicks that day. I remember towards the end of the game, he was fucking bollocks tired because the shift he put in. And he played for the short that day. And that was one of my favourite games of Yakamakis. He scored feisty kicks, he scored vital goals away from home, away at St. Johnson. He scored in the League Cup semi final for us. Big games, but Yakamakis got Celtic. Like Jan Vennegar Hesselink got Celtic. Them type of players. Scotty McDonald, you know, them type of players. And sadly, we don't have that. We don't have, at the moment, we don't have a foreign line that gives me confidence to say, oh, fucking hell. Shinamani's going to sort of hat trick this week. Because I haven't seen enough of him. I haven't seen enough of him. And that's the truth. Where's Yang's head going to be now? We've got a poor player. But the answer to that is Brendan Kimmett said it that Yang accepted when he came in from South Korea that he's going to be a squad player. And he's looking at his own career and wants to pursue being a first team player. And I'm sure his head going to be all over the shop. You know, we're on the verge of a deal collapsing for everywhere. I was seeing something cringy. I was looking at the Swansea Instagram page yesterday, saying this to me missus that she rolled her life. Had the Someone wrote in the comments saying, "Follow the Eda, 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 follow the Eda." I was like, some of their friends are pretty happy that they've got this guy in because he's Champions League experience. He's played the Champions League, and look at wish Adam the best. I'm not going to go over the same thing I said, but what are we thinking on in that show? Personally, I think it's pointless. I agree with you, it's pointless. I think, you know what? I know Brendan's trying to go back to these old ducks, but what says that Brendan could be gone in the next 3 or 4 weeks and whoever comes in might not be the job? Osmond's not getting a sniff in that team. He's been playing B team football. And I was told by friends, I was told by friends who are Fulham fans that Callum Osmond come in and do a job, and he didn't really get the chance to the senior team at Fulham because obviously you had Raul Jimenez there. No one's going to get ahead of Raul Jimenez, but oh, it's a crazy one, folks. It really is a crazy one, and as I said, I appreciate it all coming on. I'm going to jump off in 4 minutes time. I appreciate the comments from everyone like Tommy, from Mo, from Dundu, from Ollie as well. Of course, Ollie. We don't forget about you and your green glasses, bud. From Chris, from P. McLaughlin, from Paul. You know, I think we're all angry, and the problem is we can all be angry temporarily. But how long will this shit mess go on? Where we see the incline of our players. Sean, how you getting on? Long time no speak. Imagine we what to say. Imagine we won the travel and did Europa. Well, I love your comment, but I'll be honest, the chances of doing that quite slim because we don't have enough in our foreign power to get them goals. But sometimes players that are not coming into the club have to make it. They're in there to get salary. They're in there to make a point, and this is the time where they should relish the pressure. They should realise that joined a massive club and they need to step up. We've been in worse places and won. I'm not going to win the Europa League, shot. John, there's no way we're going to win that Europa League. I'm being honest. I'll be brutally honest. I don't think we're going to win the Europa League. Like, yeah, it's winnable going playing them teams, but what we have in the league phase. But I just feel like there's enough. If you're looking at that style of football isn't good enough to win the league. We're gambling with the league because we've seen in the last game at Ibrox, even the European games, we're playing the same style of football as foreign. You change your style of football, you go 3-5-2, or you go 4-4-2, or 4-2-2-2. Play two strikers. Let let Yamada, let Kenny build a relationship. Let these boys graft and win titles for us. You know, have Taneki, have Balikwisha, have Atate, have McGregor in that role, and let the wingers start getting more direct football. Because once you have them two players in that midfield that will scrub, take the ball with scrub, you can start getting more play in the flanks. Because at the moment, Ralston isn't confident. So I can't click into that comment, Sean, because I'm on StreamYard. I will have a look at it after. Never happened. Did a post about Twitter who's to blame. There's a lot of people to blame. Damon Desmond, Michael Nicholson, Peter Lawwell, Brendan Rodgers, the lack of budget for the team as well. They have to be accountable. Some players that are not at the level have to be accountable as well. As I said, it's not just a business; it's a team as well. If you're not showing a passion and conviction and can beat teams from Kazakhstan, they have to take blame for it. You know, it's like working in the call center and telling your team to dial out and do sales calls, and they're sitting there and they aren't even start making calls yet. You're gonna blame your team, aren't you? You're gonna blame your management for not pushing them. You're gonna blame your board for not giving them the right campaign to do. This is what I'm trying to say. Look at fair play to you, but P. McLaughlin says I've missed 5 to 6 home games since 1987. I don't blame you feeling this frustrated because you're waking up to it. They've been bleeding us for years, not giving us enough to deal with return. That's it. Take, take, take. Here's a wee bit. Here's a wee bit, but take a look. But right, folks, I'm gonna jump off. It's my birthday today. I'm gonna go down and get myself some food. Try put the Celtics up to the back of my head because my missus getting fed up with me talking about it all the time. She said, Keith, you're letting it get to you. I'm like, because I fucking love Celtic, like the way you love Celtic, you know, you know. But I try to put the back of my mind since it is international week. But I will not be surprised Steve Clark's gonna be our next manager. Will not be surprised. I wouldn't want Steve Clark, to be honest. Um, but just keep them ears close. Maloney, Duff, Brown. That's all I'm saying. Because I have a feeling what's going to happen is Rodgers will walk. They'll take Sean Maloney in from the eternal camp that we have, eternal camp, a camp, and they'll let him walk with the board because he has a relationship there. And by the way, I just want to give a shout out to Paul Tisdale for the absolute the lack of work he's done. And I don't care what happens behind the scenes. The lack of the lack of dialect from him, the lack of dialect from the board. It is an absolute mess. A fucking mess. You know? Yeah, a mess. So Nicholson out, the man that stays in the dark, can't pick up his phone. He's needed during the close of the transfer window. And by the way, I just want to say this to you folks. This was this was brought to my attention as well. Michael Nicholson and Peter Lawwell wearing that Ibrox the other day. They were wearing that Ibrox the other day. Where were they? I forgot. Peter Lawwell was in Monaco drinking champagne, drinking your money, drinking your hard-earned money that you put into that club, drinking that champagne, drinking that champagne on that private jet. Don't care what even delegation of UEFA. It just shows the lack of hunger, the lack of ambition. When you're at a point, you need to move forward, not go backwards. At the moment, we are going backwards. Simple as. So, green tints, thank you very much for all the happy birthdays, folks. I've done enough ranting, and I hope, I hope you all have a good day and try not to think about it. You know, I know there's well-established self pages out there that keep posting it every hour, but I'm not one of them. I'll post it once a day, twice a day. I'll have my hour around, but not every fucking hour of the day saying this and that. Just don't buy into it. The fact is, they don't want to spend. It's cost us in this transfer window. Will it cost us the title? I don't know. Will it cost a manager's job? Probably, probably because of the lack of hunger from that team. And it's a results business. And if you start dropping points, you'll be questioned, as we know. Or we can be very fickle fans, you could call it. We start dropping points, it's like fucking the end of the world at times. But win, lose, or draw, we all love this. So I'm gonna go. Thank you very much for everyone. And please, for the love of God, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Anyone over on Facebook, jump over and subscribe. All I'm asking is a new sub for my birthday. Free of charge. Simple as, right? I am going to go and head off. I'll speak to you all soon. If anything happens over the next few days, I'll be back on it like a carp on it, but I'll speak to you all soon. Hell, hell.